I remember when I was in the Air Force, I was a missile launch officer, and this was during the Cold War back in the late 70s. And so there would be a companionship, myself and my deputy. We would go out on alert out in the missile field, and then we would be responsible for monitoring 50 nuclear weapons, the intercontinental ballistic missile systems, and this was in South Dakota. And so one of the things we did is that we would, once we got down in the launch control capsule, which was 90 feet below ground with steel reinforced concrete, it's like a bunker, kind of like being in a submarine but underneath the ground. We would be tasked with monitoring the 50 missiles under our responsibility. And when the missile knew exactly where it was located in the world, with its exact longitude and latitude in the world, it was what we called clean and green strategic alert. You had a green light across the computer screen of the missile. Now, for whatever reason, if every 8 seconds, the way the system was set up, every 8 seconds, we would electronically query that missile and ask, "How are you doing?" electronically. And it would reply, "I'm doing fine." "Do you know where you're at?" "Yes, I do." "Thank you." And we'd move on to another missile. This was electronic language. Well, whenever that missile would reply to us saying, "How are you doing?" "I'm doing fine." "Do you know where you're at?" "No, I'm confused. I'm not sure." We would immediately take it off of strategic alert, because the way the missile system was set up, that if you launched that missile and it didn't know exactly where it was positioned exactly in the world, you would have no idea where it would end up. It could launch in South Dakota and end up detonating in New York City because it didn't know where it was at. So it could go anywhere and be happy, except if you're on the receiving end of that nuclear weapon. So, just like in finances, before you ever get to where you want to go, you need to know where you're at. Like, exactly where you're at. You deal with reality. Because if you're unwilling to deal with what is, then how do you know when you're ever going to get where you want to be? So, it's very important that we recognize that knowing right where you're at financially is the first step, the home base of where you want to end up.